Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. We have a lower body strength and conditioning workout. So grab your towels, not only because we are going to be getting hot and heavy, specifically towards the end of the workout, but we are going to be using these towels for some exercises. One of them is a 3-point extension. The other is a hamstring curl. The reason why I'm mentioning this right away is because you might need to go and grab that. So if you are going to be using the towel option, you'll also need a floor that is like slippery, whether it is laminate, hardwood, tile, something along those lines. And if for some reason you don't have this, that is completely fine because I have options, body weight, dumbbells, and bands, which I also will be using in today's workout to get our legs working. So let's get you guys started with a warm-up, no equipment involved. Then we're going to get into our leg strength, the lower body strength. We have some supersets we're going to work through. And then at the very end, we are going to do our conditioning, which is just about 12 minutes today. Yes. And so for that aspect of the class, you probably will want to wear shoes if you're going to be joining me on a high impact jumping stuff. Okay, let's get this party started. You guys are going to get down on the floor with me here and start off with a standard of bow and arrow. So we're going to lay down on our side. I'm talking all the way down on our side. And my Zoom room is good morning. All right, so we're just getting you guys started with a bow and arrow. We're going to weave this top leg underneath the bottom while we're laying on our side. Stack our hands and shoulders, and then we'll cross the body with an exhale. Try to get this hand down on the floor, and then we'll reach up and over our head, return, and then do that 4 more times to make it 5 total. So we're trying to exhale into it, ideally extending this arm out straight, which I don't quite have room for, and that spider, there's some cobwebs in that corner, so I'm kind of keeping it shallow so I don't stick my hand right into them. But if you do have room, we'll straight arm, extend this arm all the way up and around, and go through the 5, and then we will switch and do the same thing on the other side. So I'm actually just gonna turn around. I don't like spiders or cobwebs, so, and then we'll do the same thing on this other side here. Again, weaving this leg, trying to keep this knee down, stacking wrists, shoulders, and then crossing the body, straight arm, reaches up and over our head. And then we do this 4 more times to make it 5 total. So we'll do 5 and 5. Once you guys are done that one, we are going to flip over into our all 4 position, hands and the knees. Take one hand and put it behind our head like this. Closing, trying to get our elbow towards the top of our hand. We don't need to touch though. Take a big breath in and then exhale and try to open up and see how close we can see at the ceiling right above our head. So you might not get that on your first rep or 3 or 5, but we're doing 10. So hopefully by the end of this set, you'll be able to feel a little bit more loose and a bit more able to like look right above yourself. It's funny, like I say the ceiling and then you know, you're looking at the ceiling over there and that's all good, but I'm talking like the ceiling right above your head if you can. I'm not forcing anything. I'm working with whatever mobility you got going on this hour of the day today. So we'll do 10 on both sides. Now we'll try to keep it even, but you might find one side is a little bit tighter than the other, a little bit looser than the other. So just work it as you can through those 10. 10 of them. And then you are standing up off the floor. And I'm going to double check. Yes. So the next one is going to really prepare us for our first exercise that we're going to do, which is a straight leg deadlift, or this RDL. So that is a hip hinge, which is something that you guys hear me talk about all the time, hinging our hips. And so that is something that we're going to practice right now. We're going to get into a squat stance. So I want to be a little bit wider than my shoulders, toes slightly pointed out, soft knees. I'm going to stick our arms above our head. My arms are just straight. I know they're kind of cut off, but they're up there and they're straight, soft knees. And then we're going to stick our hips back behind us so that we make this really nice hip hinge where we're just moving through our hips. We're not moving through our back or our knees. The knees stay straight, but they're not locked out. They're soft. So we feel that stretch. And we're going to go through 10 of these. Just simply this hip hinge. So pushing the hips back, pulling the hips forward rather than bringing our body down. We want to really focus on moving the hips, sticking out the butt. So we'll do 10, and then right away, you can keep your arms above your head, although I know your shoulders may be starting to burn a little bit. That's okay. It's part of the deal. We're going to go into 10 overhead squats now. So the squats, of course, we are bending at the knees. We want to bend at the knees and push the hips back at the same time. So we're still sinking back to kind of have our knees stay back and pushed out to the side, but we're focusing on keeping those arms straight and above our head. So we'll go through 10 reps total of those overhead squats, which are actually a little harder than they look. Especially if you're someone who kind of struggles with overhead stuff. I always think about my mom because she has had so many shoulder issues and she like can barely put her arms over her head, let alone hold them there for an extended period of time. Anyways, let's get you guys going on the next one. This one is called a hip airplane. Now I know this kind of sounds like a weird one. You're going to want to hold on to something. So I would suggest to bring yourself close to a wall. If for some reason you don't have like something to hold on to, it's okay, but just keep in mind that there's going to be a lot of balance involved. We're going to get into a single leg deadlift position. I'm going to stand on the leg furthest away from the wall. I had to think about that. So I'm holding over here and I'm standing on this outside leg, soft knee, hip hinge. Oh, here it is again. And then we're going to open up the hips towards the wall, close the hips, and then stand up through that deadlift. That's 1, and we're doing 10. So again, push the hips back just like we practiced. And then we want to open up the hips, or you can think about turning this back foot towards the wall. You'll feel an opening in this adductor in your inner thigh here, in your hip. And then we'll close, and then you'll feel that glute doing the work to lift us up to the top. So you get a little bit of dynamic stretching going on the inner thigh, and then we get some work happening, waking up the glutes to get it ready for these strength exercises that we're going to do. So we're going through 10 per side of that one there. You can see how this can get a little bit awkward if you're not holding on to something, because it just simply takes a lot of balance, which is not the goal, not the focus. We had all of our balance fun earlier on in the week, and well, there is a little bit coming up here too, but anyways, 10 and 10. We have one more to do, and then we're gonna actually 2 more technically for warm up. And the next one is down on the floor, and it's all about activating your core and ab muscles. We're going to get ourselves into a plank position, and in this plank, on our forearms, we're going to focus on doing a pelvic tilt this way. So I'm going to take my pelvis and tilt it underneath. You can also simply think about kind of squeezing your butt, but what that's going to do is do that ribs and pelvis together situation, which is going to bring our core in and help us overall just use it in this plank so that we really get a good activation. So let's get down there and let's try this out. So you guys can just get yourselves into a normal standard plank position. We'll be high on the toes, pushing on toes, and then we'll try to really do that pelvic tilt. So I don't want to have my butt sticking up like this. I want to roll it under, squeeze my butt, and then we're going to take 10 deep breaths. So that's the count, is your breathe in. So take your time. Every exhale, I want you to think about trying your best to get that pelvis coming under a little bit more. So inhale, you can kind of hold it there. Exhale, really contract and try to bring it under. Feel your core, and you'll feel it so much. Like, dang, this makes planks feel hard. So we'll go through 10 breaths total. This one. Again, the goal is core activation. So if you're feeling like too much, like let's say you're starting to feel your lower back, what you can always do is do this one down on your knees in that half plank position if you need to. So once you guys are done, we have now one more for the glutes, the hips. We're going to do that 3-point extension. So you got options today. I briefly talked about at the beginning how I'm going to be using this here towel on this here floor to do some of these. So I will show you guys this option. You can do this and or with a band. So what this band is going to do, which I am going to use, is going to add some resistance around my ankles. So I'm going to put it like right around my heels, and I'm using quite a light band. I wouldn't want to use anything too strong because it kind of defeats the whole purpose. And then what I'll do here is I'll just kind of turn to the side so you guys can see me. So I'll start without the towel, but if you do have the towel, just put it underneath one of your feet. We're going to get ourselves into that same sort of athletic hip hinge position, shift all of the weight onto one leg, and then kick our leg out to the side, back 45, straight back. We're counting every single rep, 45, side. I'm counting all of these, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so you can start your first set. I'm staying so light on this foot, just slightly touching the floor. If I had the towel, I would be sliding in and out, okay? So we're counting 15. All of those equals 1. So just count every single angle that you're going out, 15 of them, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And we want to shift the weight, get into this nice strong position, and then we'll work with this side, and we're counting out 15. My wall's in the way. And you'd think that you're working this kind of moving, kicking leg, although yes, you're getting a little bit of work. The majority of what is working is in the standing leg, in this glute over here. You're stabilizing and trying to keep yourself still. So it's important that we're not doing any kind of this thing here. So 15 on one side, 15 on the other, and then you are going to do that again right away. Back to the first side, 15 more of those going through one more set. They're always like a total wet bathing suit. So I'm just going to move this a little so I can show you guys the slider, which is pretty straightforward. So hopefully you gathered if you're using it. And we just go like so. And you'll count all of those reps. I don't quite have enough room here, but y'all understand. And of course, if you don't have anything, you guys know what to do. You just follow along. So we'll go through those both sides 2 times. Ooh, and we should be warm. Should be. So once you guys are done that, you can unband, grab yourself some water if you would like. We are going to get you started on the first superset here, which actually uses all of these things. So except the towel. So I'm going to keep those up. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys about 30 seconds to finish up. Doing it. Okay, so as you guys come to an end, we are going to get you started on these first 2 exercises. So we've done a lot of this hip hinging so far. That is going to be the one that starts us off on this lower body strength. So we're going to do a sumo stance RDL, or Romanian deadlift, which is a straight leg version of a deadlift. So in terms of resistance, I'm going to be using my 8-pound dumbbells, holding them in front of me, using them to do this deadlift, to add that weight to it. We're working with 12 to 15 reps. So you guys have a range today. So you can do 12 or you can go up to 15. You just kind of do whatever feels challenging, which we will talk all about as we go. So you guys can grab onto your weights. If you're using bands, what I would suggest you do is hold the band sideways like this, unless you have like a long band that you can anchor around underneath your feet. And then we can work with the same, adding that tension to your back and upper body. So let's start off with this one. We are going to pair this with another one, which we'll talk about after we do our first set. We are doing 4 of them, and we will start this one right now. So again, you can do 12, you can do 15. We'll get ourselves into the stance, which is wider than our squat stance, and my toes are pointed out to the side. Soft knees, weights in front of me, shoulder blades together. So I set my shoulders back. And then I want to push my hips back, but keep the weights very close to my legs. Almost drag them up and down my legs. As we go down, we're feeling tension building in the back of our legs and our glutes. When you get to the bottom, I want you to squeeze and shorten that and try to squeeze that tension through every one of your reps. So we'll go through then 12 to 15. We are working with a range, so you can pick your poison between 12 to 15. We want it to be challenging. We don't want to be able to do many more reps than that number that we're choosing. So things that we can do to make it harder, of course, slow them down, but mostly simply just thinking about it. Simply thinking about that, that whole situation, the lengthening, and then the squeezing starting at the bottom. So we want to start to squeeze our butt down here. And then that's what brings us up to the top. We don't want to just come up and then squeeze at the top, because then we end up doing that and it's just not giving us much of anything except pain in the lower backs, and you don't want that. So once you guys are done, we are doing something with this. We have a abduction in a bridge. So we're gonna get down on the floor here on our backs. If you guys have bands, bring them out. You should have them close anyways. I'm gonna use both my bands. So I'm gonna take this black one that I know you guys always can't see because I'm always wearing dark pants. And then this yellow one, I have the black one right above my knees, and then the yellow one right below. You definitely do not need two, but I'm gonna use two, so you can if you would like. But if you want to use one, you can put one either or. And then if you don't have a band, you're just no band, you're gonna do the same thing. So we're on our back in this bridging position. We want to first off start by squishing our lower back into the floor. Knees are hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider to start. And then we'll push up, open 1, 2, and then lower, touching our lower back, not the back of our hips. So we go back up, 1, 2, and then we come down, and that's 2 reps. 1, 2, that whole thing up, down, 2 abductions is 1. We're doing 10. So you guys can start right now, if you haven't already, coming down and making sure that you're feeling your lower back, which is making us do that same pelvic tilt. So we're getting that same action going on in our core and overall helping us just focus on the back of our hips. So 10. Okay, so once you guys have done 10, wow, we are going to do that again. Little to no rest in between. So there's no prescribed rest between the superset. We're just going to kind of go back to back between these two. They are both very like backside and hip focused exercises. But this bridging abduction one with the bands is working something a little bit different than this sumo straight leg deadlift here, which is why you can just kind of go between them without taking like that minute that we normally have to take. So you can get up if you want to grab a quick sip of water. Think about how good that felt. And then we are going to do it again 3 more times. So we will get to work here because you guys have, oh, actually you have quite a bit of time here. We have about 7 minutes until we are needing to be talking about the next part. Okay, so second set, back to this first one. And we're in this wide set stance, toes pointed out, weights in front of us, soft knees. We want to push the hips back behind us. Now, keeping those weights close is going to help you guys protect your lower back, because as soon as those weights stray away, everything through your core and lower back has to work harder, which is not the focus. The focus on this one is the back of the legs and the back of your hips. So that's where we should feel the majority of this work, especially because of the way we have our feet positioned, the wider stance and the toes pointed out. It helps us to get more on the sides of our hips here. And the bootay. Okay, so whatever you guys did on the first set, we will try to do it again through this one, and the next one, and the last one. Sumo RDLs. All right. So yeah, the rest is you getting those bands on and off, because y'all know that takes a little bit. So right away, once you guys are done your 12 to 15, so you have that range, we will go right into 10 of those bridges with the double abduction at the top. So especially if you're not using bands, but with the bands as well, we want to make sure that your knees never come closer. When I say abduction, what that means is us going out like this. Adduction is us coming in, ab is going out like this. So you can just always think like opening when I say that way. And so we want to make sure that we're going out, and we're not coming knees like together and just coming back out to normal, because that's causing this kind of knee caving in situation. It doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good, and it is not good for your knees. And so we want to make sure we never do that, and we always just go wider than that. So we'll take that into this next set, the last 2, which you guys are going to work through. It's pouring rain. Okay. So we'll get us going on our second set here of these ones. Okay. So again, right away, we'll try our best to go into our third set. Those of you who are using bands, you don't really need like the strongest band in the world. The yellow band actually felt quite challenging. This black band might even be too strong. What we're doing here with the band, if you're using it, is we're trying to pull it apart slightly to create tension in our upper back. Just like when we have the dumbbells and I say set your shoulder blades back before you start your set. So same thing, we're trying to like pack the shoulders back, and so we can get those guys tight through the set. And so that's what we want here too, is holding this band, pulling the shoulders back, and then same thing, keeping it close, trying to get that upper body involvement. Let's do it. Third set and fourth set. Yeah. Doing it. All right. For real though, this always takes like a little bit of time to get in and out of these bands. Unless you have like a chair to sit on, sometimes that makes it a little easier. Okay, so again, if you're using one band, we want to keep the band close to the knees, but avoid putting it like right around the sides of your knees. So you can either put it right above or right below, but if the band is too low or if the band is too high, it's not going to do its job, because this is where the movement is when we're opening up to the side like this. So we want the resistance around here. It's not really going to do much if it's around our ankles, and it's not going to do as much if it's like really high on our legs here. So keep it close around your knees, and that goes for, again, 1 or 2 bands. Check yourself on the distance of your legs, and then even on your first few reps, you can make sure that you are indeed going wider than where you started. That was 3, but it's only 2 at the top, right? Yes. But you guys know that. So we'll go through this set here. There's one more after this, and then we are going to move on. Woo, get in there. All right. I haven't even started the jumping part, and my hair's already falling out. Okay, you guys, so take your time with this superset here. We have, about 2 minutes, actually 3, to finish this up. So take your time, it's the perfect time for one more set. This one and one more, of course. All right. The glutes, the hips, back of the legs. I should be feeling all of the things. That was weird. The lights totally just flickered. Maybe that's why my internet cuts out. I don't know. All right, so we'll start our final set here. This is it for these ones for today, for this week. So we have our last set of our sumo RDLs. We'll try to make this as challenging as possible. So really focusing on the tension, focusing on the right movement in your hips. We want them going back behind us to create that tension, that stretch, and then we squeeze up to the top. So try to get that going on in your last set. 12, but maybe you want to go for all 15. Get those extra 3 in. I know it doesn't sound like much, but if you're really making these hard, those extra 3 should be really challenging and really make you feel that fire in the back of your legs and the back of your hips. And I know you secretly like that. Maybe. You know, it's good for you. So let's get it going on. Final sets. Those guys. And then we have one more round down on the floor on our back, working with our opening bridge, our abductions. So something that really kind of helped me out with this one as well, that I'll kind of tell you guys in your last set here, is adding that slight angle to our feet here as well. If I have my toes forward and I go through this bridge, when I open, you might find that your feet want to kind of like flip off the floor like this. And so if we just point the toes out slightly, that doesn't happen, because now we have that angle there, and now we can do our set. It doesn't have to be too much, and it shouldn't be too much, but just a little bit so that you don't get that foot flipping situation going on. So let's do our final set here, whether that's happening or not. I always just kind of think about these weird little things that tend to happen to people and to myself, and might be happening to one of you out there, and maybe not today, going forward, whatever it is. So let's talk about it. So let's get our last set, you guys. Once you are done, we're going to move on. Grab a quick sip of water, H2O, and I'm going to move up my mat again so that I have some space down there on the floor, as the next part is going to work in that hamstring curl. So I'm going to be doing mine on my back with this towel underneath my feet. It's right here. But if you don't have a floor that slides, or you don't have a towel, you can do dumbbell version. And I also have a body weight kind of bridge variation that we can do instead as well. So 10 reps down there, and then we'll take a little bit of rest. I'm going to start explaining our next part here right now, because it's time actually. So hamstring curls is, that is our second one. We're going to start off with our first one, which is our single leg deadlifts. Now, ideally, you guys, I want you to work your balance, work those balance muscles in this one here. We're going to be working with a single leg deadlift. You guys are doing 12 reps per side, preferably with some kind of resistance. So I'm going to use my dumbbells, holding both of my dumbbells in both of my hands, so one in each, and we're going to work with this single leg deadlift. We did a little bit of practice in the warm-up, the hinging and the single leg and the opening, and so we're going to go through 12 reps per side and then get down on the floor and do our hamstring curl with this one. So we'll start our set with our single leg exercise first, our single leg deadlifts, and start on whatever leg you want. I'll start on my right because it's my harder side. And soft knee, shift the weight onto the leg so you're balancing. And then we just do the same thing. Push the hips back and pull the hips forward. We don't have to worry too much about what's happening with this leg here. You can keep it bent or straighten it out. Most important is that our hips are being pushed backward and then pulled forward. So we're getting that same feeling as we just had in that first one, but now it's much more focused because it's a single leg one. So we'll get you guys going on through 12 reps per side from a banded piece. You guys are going to have a band anchored around opposite foot, and then you can work through your balance. 12 reps total. So I'm trying not to touch the floor up here, so I do get that balance work. And same rules apply. Weights, band, whatever, should stay close to the body. So let's get in 12 and 12. Easy balance. All right. Last time I used the towel, and it did not slide because it had like these ribs. It was like a kitchen towel with like this ribbed pattern in it, and so I went back to the OG white, and hopefully it will slide a little bit better because it was horrible last time. You guys remember my towel was balling up and not working, so I had to do the dumbbell version, which I will show you as well. So do your thing, you guys. Please take your time. That one does take a little bit, going through 12 on both sides. And then once we're done, we're going to get down on the floor and do 12 reps of a hamstring curl. So something that is going to work on the leg in like a curling fashion. So ideally, we want some movement in there. So either using this towel, pulling in our feet when we're on our back, or this dumbbell, which I'll show you guys right after. But if for some reason you don't have either of these things, slidey floor, or you don't have dumbbells, you can lay on your back and just do a bridge with your legs extended out, like a further away bridge, okay? So that is the body weight option. Ideally though, I want you guys to try this. Lay on your back and squish the back down, hips up. We can let the feet out, and then if you need to, you can put your hips down, or you can try to keep them off the floor and pull in and go through your 12 reps. So we're going through again. If that's too hard, if it does not feel good, then don't do it. Relax your hips, pull in, push up, and then reset. So look at that. That works so nicely with this towel. So you guys can do it like that. If you don't have that, you can also try this one where you have that dumbbell there. Am I going to have enough room? Maybe. And then we can grab this dumbbell with our feet. And my head is like in this mirror, hello myself. And we can go through our reps like so. So we talked about this one last week, was it? How we did this one specifically. We were squeezing our feet together and trying to, again, feel back of the legs working. So we want to keep our feet kind of bent up to 90 degrees like this, rather than pointing, to avoid too much involvement of our calves. And that goes for any sort of hamstring curl. Oh, carefully putting it down. All right, so these two together, super same focus, back of the legs. We're just working these muscles in kind of different fashions. So you guys can take a little bit of rest here, take about 30 seconds, trying to keep it under a minute, and then we'll go into our next set here. So we're going through, you guessed it, 3 more total. 4 is our number to be. And so once you guys are feeling ready, maybe it wasn't the hardest, you want to make your next 3 sets a little bit harder, we can start our second set. So we'll grab onto same thing, whatever you're using, the dumbbells, the anchor band, we'll load it up, and we'll start off here doing it again with the balance and going through our set. Second set, let's get it. So 12 and 12. Nice work, guys. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so let's do our thing here. The hamstrings, the glutes, the balance is happening for real here. So we have been always constantly working on our balance. A couple tips that might help you guys out is really connecting with your core, also thinking about your foot being more stable into the floor. So making sure your heel, big toe and little toe, as I fall over, are all in contact with the floor. We're not like lifting up our toes or our heels, because that's not going to help us balance, because now we're wobbling all over the place. So the stronger your foot and leg, the stronger your balance is going to be. And sometimes activating your core, kind of pulling in your tummy, helps that. Okay, so if any of you are really really hurting with the balance, if you're struggling because it's just one of those days or it's just something that you're still working on, those things will help. Sometimes we just need a reminder. So we'll go through this set here, and then you guys are on to your second of the hamstring curls. So this one, this towel pulling in hamstring curl, with the hips up like that, it can be quite unsafe for someone who doesn't do this kind of thing. Now, we've been working on these movements for a while now, for months. And so I trust that you guys have probably tried this out before. I didn't even talk about you doing this without your hips off the floor. When we started, we all started the same, doing this hips up, letting out, hips down, pulling in, okay? But now, as we're getting stronger and going through these, maybe you want to try it with your hips off the floor, okay? Which is completely fine as long as you feel fine, as long as it doesn't feel sharp, pinchy, like not so good pain. It'll feel very worked, okay? But as soon as it starts to feel like bad worked, you stop and you go back to the other one where we let out, hips down, and pull in. And you can make this one really hard. You just go slower on the way out. Takes longer, more time for these guys to feel that work, and yeah, it'll be just a lot safer, because that one is super demanding, and your hamstrings are very sensitive muscles. I mean, you guys have probably heard like, oh, I pulled my quad or my hamstring, but you never really hear like I pulled my quad, maybe. But hamstring injuries are much more common, just because of the way that these guys are back here and the fact that we don't really use them in real life. We use these guys like all the time, getting up on the chair, getting up off the floor, walking upstairs, whatever it is, the front of the leg. And so just be careful. In your third and fourth set, because that's where you guys are. So we'll get number 3 in. And then we have our final one to do. You guys have one more part to our leg strength. And it's time to get your heart rate up. Woo! In our 12-minute circuit. Okay. There it is. So let's get this last set in, guys. 1. And working through 12 per side. Trying to focus on pushing those hips back, keeping the shoulder blades together. Oh, all of the things. Last set. So we have, well, about 2 minutes. So, you know, not the most time, but enough to get her done. Enough. Okay, so let's get it going on here. You guys thinking about the glutes, the hamstrings, all of the right things are feeling on this last set, especially because we have worked 3 sets before this to figure it out, and now you are really feeling it, hopefully. So we'll take it into our last one down on the floor here. Woo, 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 woo. And so we'll squish that lower back in, hips up, and then we'll go through our set. So if you guys also, for the dumbbell one on this last set here, want to make it a little bit more challenging, we hold the dumbbell, we want to squeeze our butt. So if you can think about doing that on your final set, you guys are doing the dumbbell pull-in here, and yeah, it's going to make it a lot more involved. These two guys, the hamstrings and your glutes, they work together. So if you activate this while you're doing this curl, you're just going to feel everything a lot more through this final set. So if you want that, I've got your back, and you can try that out here. Give her a go on this last round. Then we are going to move on to the last part, which is on it's actually not on a timer, I'm sorry. I thought it was, because last week was, but it's not. Just counting one, but the last part is on a timer, the cardio, the conditioning. Woo! All right, so hamstrings, feeling this one. All right, you guys. Okay, so once you're done, good job. You're gonna move on. We have one more superset to do here before our last part. Last part takes us 12 minutes. So we are just on time. So we're gonna work with a single leg calf raise. Oh yes. So we're going to be working with this, holding on to something preferably so that we don't have to think about balance. So we want to be positioned. I'm gonna turn myself to this wall, and then we're going to work with a single leg calf raise. You guys are doing 20 reps per side, okay? So let's start with this one. This one is certainly probably going to be way harder than you think it is. Working with the single leg heel raise or calf raise here. We've done this a lot on 2 feet like this, usually incorporated with like a deadlift or something. Today we're focusing on just doing this calf raise. So on the way down, we don't want to fully relax onto the floor. You don't have to hold on with 2 hands either. You can just hold on with one, but we don't want to worry about balance or anything, which is why we do want to hold on. So we come down and we touch down, but we don't fully put weight on our heel, and then we push back up to the top, and we're going through 20 fire, hot, red, burning reps, because these are so hard, through each leg. So 20 on this leg, and then we'll switch and do 20 on the other leg. Now, if you're someone who like literally cannot get 20, that is something that's completely common and normal. So what you're going to do until we build up the strength to do this is go back to 2 as soon as you can't do 1 anymore. So try to do 1, try to get all 20, and then just finish off your reps with 2 instead of 1. Okay, so you will have to do that again. 2 more sets, okay, just 3. Yay, such a nice change. But we are going to pair this with something. It's going to be a wall sit with alternating leg extensions. So 90 degrees at the legs is the goal. We want our back into the wall. Feet are a little bit more narrow for this one. You have your hands on the wall. Then we're going to extend one leg at a time, kicking it out and squeezing the top of the thigh without any movement in our body, well, little to none. So we're going through 20 total, 10 per side, alternating right side, left side. If these are too hard, you can lift up 1 toe at a time. 1, 2, and just count them this way like this. And for those of you who do not have a wall to sit against, you can sink yourself down into a squat and just work with these little pulses. and count out 20 of these. Whoo, burning legs. So let's do our thing there. You guys have 2 more rounds after this. And then we are on to the final part. Yay. So we certainly do not need any rest in between these two, except maybe a moment to ponder your life, because these two are burners. But besides that, we'll try to just get right going into it on our next set. If you found one side was like substantially harder than the other, start with that side. Okay, on these calf raises so that you can get it done. Start on that hard side. So we'll go through the 20 reps. And then we'll switch and do 20 on the other side. Turn around, whatever you want to do. Just not balancing. Ooh, yes. Nice job. Oh, good job, you guys. So we'll get it going on. You can't do any more singles. We'll finish off with the doubles. And the calves. All right. So moving on to our second set of our wall sit. Show you guys from the front here. So again, I have my feet much more narrow than my normal like hip width apart wall sit, because if I do this out here, this becomes way harder. So if you narrow out your feet and try this in here, it's going to be a lot easier, and you'll have a lot less like shifting happening in your body. So if you found that that was happening on this last set, you were trying to do this in your body, left one side to side, try bringing your feet together and trying it out with closer feet. And you'll probably find that, I mean, it still burns like crazy, okay? But it's going to be more manageable for you to keep that sway out and away from your upper body. You can also put your hands on the wall, which on the flip side, if you want to make it a little harder, you can extend your arms out in front of you. But don't take my word for it. Try it out yourself and see how it feels. So we'll go through those again. If you are struggling to do those leg extensions, whether they are just simply too hard or whether you're feeling some not so good stuff, you can try and doing those toe lifts instead. One at a time, right and left, same deal with the body. Keep it still. We have one more round, you guys, and then we are going to move on to our last part, our 12-minute cardio, and then we're done. So there you go. And we are all set up and ready to go. Okay. Good work, you guys. Let's get her done. Calf raises, and then we have the wall sit. Woo! And then we are going to move on to the final part. Ooh, it's going to be a good one. Calf raising our way. Now, you see, this is not a drill, you guys. This is way harder than they look. Especially if you do not do a lot of calf raising. I find people who like have played a lot of sports and who've done like a lot of like, you know, active stuff, they usually have an easier time with that kind of stuff. Whereas me on the flip side, like I never really played a lot of sports as a kid and didn't really get into anything except like gym. And so for me, the calf raises are always, they are always burning fire hot, really hard. So we are done with them though, which is nice. We'll get this wall sit done. We're going to finish up this final part here, which needs to start in about 3 minutes. So we're gonna start before that, but that is when we need to press start on that timer so that we have enough time to get through it. So once you guys are done, you can walk it off, grab some H2O, shake out your legs. Hopefully you're feeling good. We're gonna move on to the final part, which does not need any equipment unless you want to add in. I have some options for equipment. So I'm gonna talk about these. We're working with 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. So this is the interval time that I often say, give you guys the option. If you want to work through that 20 seconds of rest, it's going to make this entire circuit feel way more challenging, okay? We're doing 4 sets total. There's 3 exercises, and they are body weight, and I give you guys the option if you're not jumping or if you want to just have the weight, you can do either or. So we're going to go through this first one. I'm actually going to show you all 3 at a time, and then I will talk about these kind of a little bit as we go through as well. So first one is going to be our forward, backward, switch lunges. So we're going to step forward, backward, and then switch at the back in that lunge. So this is going to be you guys for 40 seconds, okay? Then we're going to have 20 seconds of rest, which if you push yourself really, really hard, just take your rest and walk it off, okay? Breathe, whatever, grab water. Second one is our invisible ball slams. So we have that invisible ball in our hand, squat stance, and we're going to slam that ball down. Option for this one that I've talked about before, but it's been a hot minute, I want to mention it again, is doing a towel slam. So if you have people sleeping in your house, then maybe you don't do this, like my husband next to me, but this is great because it actually gives you something to hold in your hands to create that like slamming momentum. So that's the second one. Last one, very standard split jump, okay? We know them, whoop, 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 whoop. We love them. We're gonna go sideways, side to side on our mat. And then, yeah, do this 4 sets. You guys ready? All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Starting with that first one, forward, backward, switch. Now, if you're low impact, we're going to step back and then just switch. You don't have to jump. Forward, backward, and then you'll just switch legs. All right, let's do it. So, again, you're doing 4 sets. So if you want to start off, doing the 40, see how it feels. Maybe you want to add on that extra 20 seconds on your next 3 rounds. That's completely fine. Or if you want to work through the 60, maybe see how that feels. See if you can do that 4 times, and that's great too. But this 40 seconds is here right now. Good job, you guys. So we have 20 seconds until we're going to start that second one. Those invisible ball slams. The infamous invisible ball slams. So we'll grab onto our air, unless you're using a towel, or you actually have a slime ball and somewhere to slam it. Get ready, get set, and here we go. So we're trying to exhale and be quick, explosive, but powerful on the way down. Control on the way up. We're kind of building up, and then we use that breath to push ourselves down. Slam that air as hard as we can. Because most of us have done ball slams in real life, and we know that that freaking ball does not actually slam and bounce very well. It just kind of dead drops on the floor, and so you really have to chuck it. So that's what I want you thinking about right now, is really throwing that air as hard as you can so we can get an imaginary bounce at the bottom of our imaginary ball slams. And time. Good job, you guys. Okay, so last one is our split jumps. So standard arms, legs, doing our thing, trying to get lots and lots of these in our distance. If you're low impact, we're going to step in and out. And then if you want to make this a little bit harder, straight arms. I know it kind of feels like a dance move, but that's that's the fun of it, right? So let's do it up here, starting our first set. Again, just using the distance of our mats. If you guys have less space, just don't go as far. If you have more space, go further, but we're trying to get as many of these split jumps in that space as we can. So we don't want to be like going side to side like this. We want to get like lots and lots and lots of those in. So we're not taking as many passes, but we're getting way more work in each pass. 10 seconds. Let's do it. Breathe in through it. 3, 2, 1. Nice job, you guys. Okay. So 40, 20. We're going to do this again 3 more sets. So most of us, we are good working as hard as we can for 40, earning our 20 seconds of rest, starting our second set in 3, 2, here we go. But some of us, it's not so easy to push ourselves. And maybe you feel better and you feel like you get a better workout if you do push yourself. And what's going to help you push yourself more is not taking any rest. So if you're that kind of person that cannot like go hard for 40 to like earn that rest for 20, then that's why I always have that underlying option that you can just keep going and turn this into 60-second rounds because I know I've worked with lots of different types of people and they all prefer different things. And for honestly, lots of people, it's simply just hard to push yourself. And that's 40 seconds. Good job, you guys. Okay. So breathe in, rest in. We're going to be ball slamming in 10 seconds. So take a couple deep breaths. Get ready to stop in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So we're trying to exhale on the way down. Be powerful. Get our arms up all the way. Strong core so that we're not arching through our back. And then we want to control the bottom. So you guys aren't bottoming out at the bottom. We want to catch that squat and lift ourselves up. And yeah, you're going to feel some work in your legs because you're doing essentially squats this entire time. Let's go though. 10 seconds left. Let's go though. Don't think about it. Just do it. Slam it. 3, 2, 1. Time. Nice job. Okay. Split jumps. The fun one. We put this on last because it is, I don't know, maybe it's not fun for you, but it's definitely a little distracting to say the least. You guys ready? Starting in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So we'll split jump our feet all the way out. We're trying to get everything moving at once. So arms, legs, feet, all of it switches at the same time while keeping our weight centered. So we don't want to be leaning back and doing like a toe tap like this. We're too far forward. We're right centered. 20 seconds left. So tighten it up. Get your arms and legs moving together. Trip over those dumbbells. 10 seconds. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. 3, 2, 1, time. Good job, you guys. Okay. Woo! All right. 2 more sets, and we are done for the day, for the week. Woo! Good news. Okay, we're going to get this done. 2 more sets as strong as we can, because y'all know you're going to feel way better if you push yourself right now for these next 2 sets. So let's do it up. Let's go. Set number 3, stronger than the first 2. Your body knows what's going on now. So does your brain. So we can really start to push ourselves, make our legs move faster, jump a little bit higher, just with more intensity. Everything is happening for a reason with your arms, your legs. Nothing's just flailing around. 15 seconds. Make it happen, you guys. You got this. You so do. Yep, even with those burning legs, you do have it. 3, 2, 1. Time. Okay. Okay. Nice work. So we're breathing. 10 more seconds here. We're going to start our ball slams. Towel slams, if you guys are doing them. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So we'll try to get as many of these in this amount of time, as many as you can. Trying to be powerful, but also in control. We're not too powerful where we're losing control. Catching the squat at the bottom. Oh, and we are breathing. 20 seconds left, guys. So got it. Yes. There it is. Arms and legs moving together. Come on, 2 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. Probably got more than 2 more. All right. Split jumps. Yay. And then our last round. Double yay. Okay. So breathing. Getting mentally prepared. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So split jumping our way. Again, if you're low impact, we want the same intensity, same intention, trying to be quick with your feet. Get them moving so that you are creating that uncomfortable feeling that I'm always talking about and always wanting you guys to make for yourselves. We want to make it feel like we actually need to stop, okay? But you just work through that feeling until you hear this timer go off. But until then, we want to go up and up and up and keep building up. 15 seconds left. Let's go a little bit faster. Come on. Second, last time you guys are here. Let's do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. This is it, my friends. We are on our final set. Yay, yeah. So we're going to get these done. Starting off with this first one, the back forth lunges. You're welcome putting these first. No, I usually put the hardest stuff first, and I think these are the hardest, maybe. All right, so get ready, you guys. Final set. Let's do it. This is it. Last round, last set. Going through, again, arms and legs. Doing your thing. This is it. And we are halfway there. Let's do it. Yes. Come on, a couple more per side. Let's go hustle for those 10 seconds left. Let's do it. Come on now. 3, 2, 1. Those ones are done. Good job, you guys. Okay, unless you're working through, then you just keep doing your thing. So we have our ball slams, split jumps, and then that is the finish line. You're going to be done. Well, I'm going to leave you guys with a couple stretches as per usual. Ball slams first though. Let's go right now. Let's do it up. So again, we're trying to be powerful. You guys got it. Get your butt down to 90 degrees. There you go, halfway there, 20 seconds left. Let go, let go, let go. Good job, you guys. Come on, push for it. Let's see if we can get 5 more. Go, 10 seconds, go. You have to hustle for those though. Let's do it. Yes, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Okay. Okay. Split jumps, taking us home, taking us to the finish line. We are already home, but we are going to be done after this in 10 seconds. A little premature here, but you guys can get yourself ready. Nice deep breath. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Final set. So we'll try to be as strong as we can on this last set. Do not stop that intensity. Whatever you're doing right now, we need to hold it for this entire amount of time, okay? Again, you're going to feel so much better if you can just do this with us right now and just push yourself, get that heart rate up a little bit higher, and release more endorphins. Overall, just get more out of this. 15 seconds to do it. Come on, let's go. Faster feet, faster arms. Everything is working together, including your brain. Push yourself right now. Let's do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And time. Nice work, you guys. So I am going to leave this running for those of you who are doing a little something, something right now. This is going to turn off though. In the meantime, you guys are done. So we are going to walk it off, grab some water, breathe, and overall just let our heart rate come down when we are finished this, which
activity completed.
We are all done. We are not all already. Okay. So good job, you guys. Hopefully you feel good right now. Although you probably don't feel that good right now, but you will as soon as you kind of rest, recover, drink a little bit more water, maybe even like after you like eat and shower and all that. But you will feel good. You guys did an awesome job. So we're going to get some stretches in here once we start to feel a little bit more like a person again. So if you feel like your heart is up in your neck, then just take a few more minutes here to breathe and rest and just calm down and let that heart rate chill a little bit before we go into these static stretches. So we did a lot of stuff for the back of our hips and the back of our legs. So that is where our stretch is going to be focused today. So if you guys need to just keep on walking it off there, you can do that. When you feel ready, you can come join me on the floor here. I'm just going to show you these stretches today. There are 2 or 3 of them. 3, and then you guys can do them on your own time. But we're going to go through each of them one at a time, starting off with the first one for the glutes. So this one is, feels so nice. I know you're not going to be mad about this one because this one feels awesome. If you want, what you can do is put your foot up against the wall, that bottom of the lower foot there, and then you don't have to think about kind of pulling in your leg here, but it really just depends on what you feel more comfortable with. We'll hold these stretches for at least 30 seconds, you guys, upward to 60 seconds if you can. Okay, so this is the first one. Again, you'll do both sides, right side and left side. Once we're done this one, we're going to sit up into this one. I know my leg's a little bit cut off there, but we want the straight legs, straight back, and then we will move forward with straight back to get that nice stretch down the back of the legs, back of the calves, overall through the back side. So this is the second one. Last one that I would suggest you guys do is that bow and arrow that we did at the very beginning. I used my foot, and you can hold it here now instead of just like moving through it, because we used it for a warm-up at the very beginning. And if you would like, you can use it for a stretch now. This one's awesome. It's a full body stretch from the hips to the lower back, upper back, and your chest and shoulders are going to get it as well. So if you need to make it a bit more comfortable, you can find something to put underneath your knee here. If you find that it's kind of hovering off the floor. And then again, you can hold this for 30 to 60 seconds per side. Okay, so hopefully that was not too much information. Hopefully you got those. There's 3 of them. You guys are going to do your thing. Thanks so much to Carly for joining me live. You rock. Always love when I have at least one in here. And if you're watching the replay, drop a comment below. You guys are all awesome for joining me for another week of training, and I'm super excited to see y'all next week. So have a great weekend, and I will chat to you soon. Bye-bye.